Welcome back to the Oddcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Ricky.
And we're just two odd dudes who decided to start a podcast.
And today we're going to be talking about Alex's first snowboarding adventure with us.
Yeah.
I
shredded
friends.
the gnar.
Yeah, nobody actually says that.
I say it.
Yeah, no.
I'm
You know who says that?
Who?
People that just started snowboarding.
Well, that's me. I just started snowboarding.
Yeah.
So this
you're
is the perfect
allowed
time.
to say it.
Yeah.
But after this trip,
No, I can.
you're not allowed to say it again.
You think I'm going to be that good by the next
The
trip?
only way you're allowed to say it is in a, trying to be funny kind of way.
That's literally me all the time.
Right. But you can't say it like we're seriously shredding the gnar. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I
We're
won't.
shredding the gnar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to shred the gnar.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that. Every time. Well, let's get to the Oddcast. All right. So we're back
We're back.
from our wonderful vacation. We had a little oddcation.
Yeah, we did. All of the Oddcast.
Yeah. You know how they say a staycation?
Whoa.
We had a stay oddcation.
I just came up with something.
What'd you say it again? I missed it.
We are the Oddcast. The cast of the Oddcast.
Yeah. Well, we're
the Oddcast cast.
Sometimes Paul is.
Paul's
an
I
extra.
think counts.
He's an extra.
I guess would you call him cast only if they're an actor?
I don't know. I don't act. Well, they would still be an actor even if they acted once, right?
No, but like if they're behind the scenes, they're not not part of the cast. They are part of the cast, right?
I
Paul,
have
you
no
know
idea.
film. Yes. They're part of the cast. We are the Oddcast cast.
This is not the point of today, but I'm glad we figured this out.
But it's amazing. All right.
I really want to get to talking about you snowboarding because it was a great time.
It was a great time.
Yeah, so this weekend we went up to Flagstaff, Arizona. Woo whoop.
Yeah, because it had
Not a
tons of
sponsor.
snow.
Can
Because
a-
we had
can a
like
city sponsor you?
no.
Oh.
I think you can sponsor a city.
Oh, all right. They did have tons of snow though.
Yeah. Wasn't it like the record amount in a long time? Or
That's what I heard. I heard it was like over 20 some inches before we went up there in like a 2-week period, or not 2-week, a 2-day period, and then after that, they were continually getting a little bit of snow.
Yeah.
And they even got snow while we were driving up there, which it was your first time also driving in ice and snow.
That's true. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I was
yeah.
following you,
Yeah.
and you
and
said
we were
you
going
drove
very
slow.
slow.
It was,
Yeah. I mean, I would still have gone that slow, but it wasn't too bad. But it was a little sketchy in a couple spots, mostly because I couldn't see where we were going.
Right.
But you could see where I was, so you knew where we were going, but you didn't know that I didn't know where we were going.
Right, and as I understand it, in that car, you were getting a little bit upset with me because I was getting too close to your car.
Yeah, you were super close.
I've never driven in snow before.
Yeah. But even like if we weren't on ice, you were closer than
No.
yeah, I couldn't see your headlights.
What? Wait, oh, you mean when I stopped?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
you were
true.
so close, I couldn't see your headlights. So I was like, bro, you got to back up. Like, it's ice for one, but two, like, I'm getting blinded by this like light of just glowing, but I couldn't see the actual headlights. I could just see the glow around my windows.
Hey, I've learned a lot that weekend.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
But let's get into snowboarding. So we went up and shout out to the crew that went with us. It was me, you, Paul, my wife. Her name is Erica. She's a soul sister. Go check them out. Shameless plug.
Nice.
Tony and Janelle. And did I say Israel already? And Israel.
You didn't say Israel, but
Israel.
Didn't go snowboarding with us.
Yeah.
But
Israel had a mishap. He wasn't able to go. It's a long story. We're not going to get into it. But
he
Janelle,
did build a snowman.
He did build a snowman. You probably saw that on our Instagram. That was his creation. Beautiful. Yeah. He put a little sweatshirt on it. It was great. It was a great idea. Janelle was also her first time going. Right. So I was really helping Janelle our first couple of runs, and you were with Tony.
Mm-hmm.
You were at the school of Lodico.
Yep.
Ski school. How was that?
It was, well, okay, should we get into what they said on the Instagram before we get into it?
Let's get to that later.
We'll do that
later.
Let's
talk
okay.
about us.
Well, so
we're cool.
The first run, I was really excited to actually get off the ski lift. Because the first time I got off the ski lift, I was fine.
Yeah. It was just the two of you, right?
It was just the two of us.
Yeah, that makes it nicer,
for sure.
Yeah. Because sometimes you get that other person and you're like, I've been doing it a long time and I still get anxious because like, what if they hit me? What if
they drag you down?
Yeah. It's like the person that's drowning and the lifeguards, they say like you approach them behind their body so they don't drag you down. That's what I feel like the ski lift is, where I'm like, everyone stay away. I'll punch you in the mouth if you come at me.
Man, you get feisty on the ski lift.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm normally just protecting my wife.
I would probably just be scared and I would just fall over.
Yeah.
My wife I'm doing.
I'll be honest with you. My wife is the one that typically drags me down. Like she falls and she just like instinctively reaches for me. And there's been many a times where it's been like she is holding onto my jacket as I'm trying to snowboard away.
Right.
Now I'm just dragging her through the snow. It looks awful.
Well, you do this thing, which I guess I should have known as far as just thinking about snowboarding, but you do this thing when you're snowboarding, if you haven't snowboarded, where one of your feet is not bound into the snowboard. Yeah, and so when you get off of the ski lift, you can't really use that foot to turn as much. I mean, you can use it to balance, but you have to use the only foot that's like actually put in the bindings and like attached to your board to turn. And it feels so wrong to me that I would always try to use the other foot, and that foot would just end up digging into the ground.
Yeah, sliding out.
Yeah, it would slide onto the ground, and I would just like, it's essentially like having a brake, but it's only on one of your feet, so then your legs are kind of like shifting apart.
Right.
Like you're doing
and if it's on like, if you do it like on the front of the board, in front of the board, then you turn one way. If you do it on the backboard, you turn the other way. It's
horrible.
Yeah.
My least favorite part was trying to get from one place to another with one foot out of the bindings. I looked probably so dumb trying to do it.
Once you figure that out, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier. You kind of figure that out. But your first run, being taught by your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that a girlfriend can teach you. I'm just saying like couples. I've watched.
Oh, she's much better than me.
Oh, I know.
This is like the gym and snowboarding.
We've been snowboarding a lot, and typically it's Tony and I that are racing up to the top of the mountain, leaving my wife and Paul behind to do the bunny hill.
Right.
Just kidding. They don't do the bunny hill. They do the beginner's run. So, but I've watched many a couple, regardless of skill level, fight on the slopes, as one is trying to teach the other. Was there any fighting?
There was no fighting.
That's good.
I think honestly, like, and maybe I'm wrong, but like I think I did a pretty good job going down the first time. And I think there's a little bit of reckless abandon that I have that I'm just like, well, I just gotta get up and start snowboarding, you know, like, and granted, I fell probably like 3 or 4 times going down that first. Oh my gosh, the first run down. I veered off to the right where there was not like, it wasn't the paved. What do you
groomed
the groomed snowboarding area where it was just a giant mound of fluffy snow. And man, my board stopped on a dime. It was just like I stopped and I just face planted right into the snow, and I kid you not, my heels almost touched the back of my head. Like
full scorpion.
That's
it was amazing.
It was bad, and Tony was there to see it, which was great.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
like
why
I said,
I'm somewhat sad. Like I wasn't there for your your initial run.
Right.
You guys kind of like, you were out, you were going, and I lost you. I thought I'd be able to see you forever because you're so tall, and
I had the blue jacket on.
Yeah, shout out my jacket.
Yeah, your jacket.
She's
it's
beautiful.
Nice. Kept me nice and dry.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, so I mean, as far as my experience snowboarding goes, like I had a great time. I would love to do this like every year.
Yeah. Well, I hope more than every year. Like,
well, I mean, like every season, you know what I mean?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things I was talking with Janelle because I was helping her. It was her first time.
Right.
And one of the things I said to her, she was kind of struggling at the start, and she was like, well, he just got up and went and did it. I was like, yeah, but here's the thing, Janelle. Like, Alex has this sense of recklessness.
Right.
That isn't necessarily good all the time.
Right.
It can be, right? For trying new things, it's great.
Right.
Trying new things that are dangerous, it comes with its pitfalls, right? Like scorpion.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like that is painful, and it can cause some problems. Luckily, you had a helmet.
Let me tell you, I am so sore. Like still. It happened. We went snowboarding on Saturday.
Your back is sore?
My back's a little sore, although I did just do back day, so that might be why. But like my thighs are sore, and then like my shoulders and arms and my forearms were sore.
Yeah.
Which
the
I'm
front
like,
of your thigh?
What?
This Erica calls these your front thighs.
The inside of my thighs.
Oh, so
which is weird.
Middle thigh.
Sure.
Yeah, Erica calls the top part your front thigh. I don't know. It started while snowboarding one time.
Oh, the top part. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's the front thigh.
Yeah.
So your mid thigh, side thigh.
No, my inner thigh.
Yeah, side. That'd be the side. This is the front. That's the side.
Inside. Yeah. Inside thigh.
All right. Cool.
Anyway.
So it's still sore.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm not sure why that's sore on you.
I don't either. That's what I'm saying is like this reckless sort of nature that we're talking about. Like, I don't know why I'm sore in all the places that I'm sore, because nobody else was like it makes sense to be sore in your, like, maybe your abs and your legs.
Yeah,
like,
your calves for sure.
My shoulders were sore. Like, I think I just fell on them a whole bunch of times or something, because I don't know. I use that massage gun that you have on my shoulders, and it was like so painful. More painful than my legs.
Your shoulders are sore. Like pain sore or like muscle sore?
No, I mean muscle sore.
Okay,
but
you're not walking with two dislocated shoulders, are you? Like,
just wobbling around.
You actually like scorpion and broke both your shoulders.
Yeah,
but
that's actually what happened.
You're just walking around like it's okay.
Yeah, I had to do with that like ninja kick up whenever I wanted to get on my board. It was awesome.
We just put Alex in two different slings and we just made him keep going. The jacket worked great.
Getting onto the ski lift was impossible.
Yeah. So we did get to hang out more in the second half of the day.
Yeah.
And you definitely were doing really well. And we kind of talked about this before, those skills of having the balance on a longboard and those type of things that you've done
right.
don't hurt necessarily. They don't always translate because
right,
it's a completely different feeling, right? Like
it
we
totally
both have longboard or have longboarded, but it's the way in which you have to turn is different. Like you're not just leaning. And I think I noticed that a couple times because I would be like behind everyone kind of, and I would race up and race past you guys. And it's always funny to watch new people because they try and lean with their body, not with their feet. They don't turn, they lean. And it's like hilarious to watch that. But I got to say, watching you was even funnier because you are so tall.
Yeah.
It was like you were leaning. And there was a couple times you were trying toe side, which for those that don't know, that means your toes are down, your heels are up. It's a whole thing. I can't explain it.
Your back is to the bottom of the mountain.
It's down mountain.
So if you dig the back of your heels into it,
you die.
You fall flat on your back.
Yeah. And you were doing that.
That's probably why my shoulders are sore.
Could be. But you were doing that, so you were leaning, you're facing up mountain, but you were leaning a lot. Probably because I said, be careful as you're first trying this, because if you dig your heels in, you smack your head on the ground. Yeah. But again, lucky you were wearing a helmet. Kids, be smart, wear your helmets.
Yeah.
But it was just funny because you were like doing the Michael Jackson thing where he's like leaning. But like you were up the mountain and it just looks so funny from the side. But I imagine that's what like most people look like when they do it. But it was just like you were so tall. It was like, this is like a perfect shot. Like you were just like full lean all the way, like going for it. But you did a great job.
I had a couple moments where I realized that my leaning and my stance was just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a few moments where I was leaning so far to the left that like my right leg was pretty much fully extended, but my left leg was bent at like an acute angle.
Mm-hmm. It's like the surfer thing. Janelle was struggling with that too, and she surfs. So I mean that makes more sense for her than I don't think you surf. Do you surf? Do you know how to surf?
I've done it once.
All right.
Almost broke my nose.
Oh wow, that's a story. But people put this they put on that back foot, they kind of lean their weight back and bend that knee to kind of feel like they're balancing better. But that actually does a worse job because now you have less of the board on the ground to actually steer. Yeah. But it's funny because you can see people and you can watch. And I saw it a couple times with you, and you would fall, or with Janelle, or even like myself. I can feel it. All of a sudden I panic and I pull the board and my body moves differently. And you're like, oh no, you're about to fall. And you can do everything in your power to try and stop it, but there's a really good chance at that point. You're gonna die. Like you're gonna hit the ground hard because your board's just coming out from under you.
Right. There are a few horrifying moments, like you said, how your board starts to move in a way that you just don't know what to do. Yeah. And there are especially starting out, there's this moment because you start out doing this thing called falling leaf, which is where you're like going back and forth. Kind of shallow, you're not going straight down the mountain. You're going back and forth so that you don't pick up tons of speed. But as I was trying to transition back and forth, there were times when my board, I just lost control of it and didn't know what I was doing, and it turned facing straight down the mountain. And at that point, it doesn't matter if you're only facing that way for 2 seconds. You pick up speed, and then if you turn around, you could just eat it. And I did many times.
Yeah. Here's what's funny with that though. I don't know how to explain this to someone that hasn't snowboarded. And even for you, like being new at this, you do pick up speed, but not to the degree that you think you do.
Oh.
Like if you sat on the sidelines
and watched myself
and watched your video, you'd be like, I was going like 30 at that point. It was so fast. And then it'd be like you're like barely moving across the screen of the camera. Like it feels so fast. But then it's really not.
Maybe it's just because I don't have control. You know, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You're on a piece of wood, essentially, with your legs strapped to it, sliding down a mountain on ice. And there's no way to stop other than figure out how to get the board to help you create, like, friction.
Or just bail.
If that's the right word. Or just bail out and just eat some snow.
Mm-hmm.
It is scary. But once you start to do it and you start to get better at it, you're like, this is worth it.
Oh, yeah.
This is so much fun.
Yeah.
But you have to get to that point, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. And it takes a lot of days where you're really sore.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think about whether or not, because I think Tony has like guest passes. I'm trying to see if I can go again.
Yeah, Eric and I want to go up again in the end of February. We
really?
talked about it. Yeah.
Oh, so maybe we can go together.
Yeah, we should.
And we can film and bring.
Yeah. We will. We are going to release a video at some point, hopefully in the next couple weeks, of us just snowboarding and having a good time. It won't be anything like too crazy or whatever.
I do a flip.
There is a point.
It's off camera though. So
there is a point where we're holding hands, spinning. I think we got that on camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to get Alex to spin around as many times as we could, but he was starting to lose control, and his length pendulumed me a little bit more than I could keep control, and it was kind of like all of a sudden I was like a spinning top of death, and I couldn't stop us because he was spinning us so fast. But once he got going, it was like the momentum. We were going until the Lord said, "You're done.
You're done. No more tango."
And then he fell, and then I jumped on top of him. It was a great time.
You jumped on top of me?
Yeah, you don't remember that part where you were like later you fell.
Yeah.
It was like later down the mountain you fell, and then I came and was like, I got you, and I dove.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
That's good times. It was really nice that this week the powder was so powdery.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like is that a jargon term? Like, is that something that people don't understand if
is
they haven't been snowboarding?
with the U's?
Do I sound like a really cool snowboarder? I
no,
think I do.
You don't.
It's powdery. That means it's like soft.
You say that's some fresh gnar, bro.
That's some fresh gnar, bro.
Don't say that.
It's too late.
We lost the other 4 followers.
Yeah. And we lost the ones that were snowboarders.
Yeah. They're gone. They stopped a long time ago.
Right in the intro, yeah. But it was very powdery, which was very forgiving.
Yeah.
Which was great. Because if I had done that scorpion thing that I did the first time and it was icy, I might have stopped. Or I would have just kept sliding down the mountain.
You would have kept sliding.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
I mean, from a watching perspective, it would have been a little more funny.
Yeah.
There was one point, though, where later in the day, we were going down the mountain. It was one of our last runs. And we had gone up higher on the mountain. We came down, and we didn't stop. We kept going down towards the bottom. And you were kind of out, and I could tell you were like thinking about it. You were practicing. You were going back and forth. But I could kind of see you were getting a little more confident. You know, you can just kind of see in the demeanor. And because you were doing really well all day, right?
Right.
And I could see it. And then I could start to see your board start to slip.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It just you were starting to get away from you, but not quite. And you were trying to pull it back, but then you turned a little too quick. And I just watched the board come right out from under you, and you like butt bounce. Like you hit and your whole body bounced off the ground, like off the snow, and hit it again. And it was like 2 bounces. And then you like popped right back up. But I was like, that is the moment. If you've been snowboarding or like you've done anything where you've fallen on your butt like that, like there is a distinct noise that everyone makes, and it's just that that's all I could imagine in my head because I had my headphones on and you were far ahead. I couldn't totally tell like if you were okay or whatever, but you popped up, so I'm like, he should be good. But all I could imagine was you making the like noise. But it's one of those like, oh, just keep going because there's nothing else. I can't breathe, but keep snowboarding.
Yeah, that's my philosophy. Is like when I was there, I fell many times, you know, but my thought was, all right, I'm just going to immediately get back up as fast as I can and just keep going down the hill because if I just sit here and contemplate why I fell, I'm not going to keep learning, you know?
Right. Well, and it is hard because, I mean, when you're falling, it's taking a beating on your body.
That's true.
You know? And luckily, this was pretty good snow.
All right.
We don't get powder like that up at snowball very often, but we got the benefit of this. So when we go in February, you will probably have to be a little more cautious because it's a lot less forgiving when it's icy.
Yeah.
But you still you go, you try, you'd be as safe as you can, you learn. But
my body's like Gumby. It
just bounces
long and noodly and mostly made of rubber.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's cool. So one of the things I wanted to just ask you about, I know we got about 10 minutes left or whatever, was what was it like for you trying something new, having friends that have already done it? There comes social pressure with that. And I know you kind of handle that naturally well. But what advice could you give to people of like, I want to try snowboarding, I want to try rock climbing, whatever. I want to try a new hobby. What mentality do you think helps you instead of just saying like, oh, just get over it and do it? Because that's easy said, but hard to do. What advice do you give to people that kind of start those type of new hobbies?
Actually, something that I think really applies here because I think with snowboarding, it was one of those things that I started and I felt somewhat confident after I started, like a little bit, like I think I did pick it up a little bit quicker than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen with everything for me, right? Like, so for instance, one thing that's like that is going to the gym. Like I'm a skinny guy, right? Yeah. I don't look good doing curls. Like I mean, my forearms do, but like other than that, like my shoulders just look bad. And like when you're a skinny guy going to the gym, that everybody like at least 80% of the people there could beat you in an arm wrestle within a second.
Yeah. You know how you compensate for that?
You just grunt a lot.
Yeah, exactly. You just grunt as loud as you can. No, everyone thinks you're dumb, but no one will do anything about it.
I don't think they'll do anything about it anyway because I don't want to pose a threat to them. But
this way, next time you go to the gym, you pick the biggest guy in the gym, okay?
Yeah, and
then you stare him directly in the eyes.
And then what?
But you curl like the littlest weight ever.
2.5.
And you just grunt as you look him in the eyes. Just feel like you assert that you belong in this gym as well, Alex. You let him know.
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna do that. I think I would die.
You just look dead in the eye.
He'd come running at me and I would throw the 2.5 pound dumbbell at him and it would just bounce off. It would probably bounce off and then hit me and then I would die.
Yeah.
It would be horrible. But anyway,
the story would be great. Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. When you're trying something new where you're very out of place and you are embarrassing. Like this is a fact that everybody has to get over is when you start something new that you have no idea what you're doing.
Right.
You are embarrassing. Like you're not good at it and you're going to have to learn how to get better before you can feel confident and feel like you're good at something, right? And that social pressure comes like, oh, I want to be as good as all my friends. I want to be as good as everybody here. I don't want to be the one like falling and whatnot. And let me tell you, there was a few times, like there was literally one run where I was right beneath the ski lift where literally everybody's watching you as they're coming up the mountain and just absolutely ate it. Like fell forward onto my board, had to flip myself around, get back up, went down about like maybe 2 yards and then ate it again. And then the same thing happened a third time. And I was like, dang, all these people on the
they're making fun of you in your mind.
Have to be making fun of you. Yeah. Like, cause I did it to people on the way up, like, I'm like, oh yeah.
You're pointing laughing at, look, that guy fell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's a good point though, of like, you have to, where you said you're not necessarily going to be great at it.
Oh yeah. You're gonna be bad. Like some people are naturals at things and that's great. But like, if there's something that you really want to do, like accept the fact that you're gonna suck at it at the beginning, most likely.
Yeah. My brother and I went golfing over winter break, and I just told him like, if you were like great at this right away, you would be going to make money off this.
Right.
But if you expect to go out here and golf once every couple months and golf like Tiger Woods, you're kidding yourself. That guy hits golf balls every single day, all the time. He's incredible. He's like a robot. If you're not doing something consistently, you're not going to be great at it. And like, I'm a decent snowboarder. I'm not a great snowboarder.
Right.
Because I don't have the money to go up there and do it all the time, but I'm good enough that I enjoy it. And, I'm not always embarrassing myself, but it's taking time to get there still. I didn't just jump on and was like, oh, look, I can snowboard black diamonds now. Woohoo.
Yeah. I love looking back at some of Ed Sheeran's old songs, like, not like old songs that he produced and published like on Spotify, but if you go back and like watch his old YouTube stuff, he showed one on some late night show at one point, And my goodness, it was terrible. It was like he sounded like how I sing, you know, like he sounded bad. And I was actually like, maybe there's hope, you know. But like,
are you announcing your music career
I'm
right now?
starting
Right
Oddcast? Now, yeah.
Be looking out for Alex's EP.
Oh yeah, the Odd EP. But like even somebody like Ed Sheeran, who's like a world-renowned artist, I would say, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe not.
I'm not a music person.
Yeah, no, he's from like Ireland or something, right? I don't know. Anyway,
we're just making stuff up about him. Yeah,
probably. Yeah. He's got 3 cats. I mean,
he's like, I'm actually from Compton. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But like, people know him. He makes good money being a singer, and he sucked at it, and like embarrassingly sucked at it at one point.
Right.
And it takes that practice.
Right. Yeah, I think that's something that is hard for people to get past. Is you have to get past the initial difficulty. And like snowboarding, the initial difficulty is getting off the lift and getting down the mountain.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand this. And every time I've gone up with someone new, I'm like, you have to be to the point where you stop thinking so much. And because if you're going slower, it's actually harder.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the ability to turn as easy, and you're stopping and you're flying backwards because you're stopping and starting and your weight is shifting so much.
Right.
But when you're going a little faster, you have actually a little bit more control. But it takes trusting that. The same is true with a lot of these other things. You have to start to progress in it and trust that you have the ability to grow and to do, maybe not be perfect at it, or great at it, but be decent at it.
Right.
But it takes that trusting and that willingness to kind of look goofy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think also there's the other side of this where you need to have, or not, you don't need to have friends who are going to encourage you, because you can do it on your own if you want to go up to Snow Bowl and just ride.
Right.
It might be
a
sad.
lot harder.
It would be harder. Yeah. But you should be that kind of friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the kind of friend who's like, hey, I know you suck at this, like, but we're going to get better. And like, we're going to chill and we're going to hang out and we're just going to try to keep going. You know, the kind of friend who's actually encouraging.
Right. Yeah. And desires that other people want to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
Not ridicule them so they don't.
Yeah. And it's okay to laugh with each other about it.
Right. Like we all joke and mess around with each other, and like we heard you scorpioned and we were making fun of you for scorpioning, right? But it's because like the rest of us have also done that.
Right.
It's not like, oh, you're awful.
Right.
It's like, yeah, we all did the same thing. We understand exactly what it's like. Like we also hit the back of our head with our snowboard.
Man, I wish you could see it, because my body is so long that it probably would have looked hilarious.
It would have looked great.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of upset I didn't see it, but you had some Instagram stuff. We're running out of time, so what do you want to share with us on the gram?
Oh, I wanted to see if y'all were right about whether or not I would be good at snowboarding. But here's the poll that we put out, whether or not people had actually snowboarded. The answer was 56% of people do snowboard.
Well, that's pretty good.
Which is a good amount, yeah.
Especially since most of our people in Arizona, and there's like pretty much no snow here.
Yeah. And then the second poll that we put out was how bad do you think I would be at snowboarding? And actually, surprisingly, people answered really average.
Wow.
Like
they thought you'd be average.
Slightly worse than average. Like they thought I'd be like right in the middle, but a little bit worse than right in the middle.
I'd say that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
You did a good job. I mean, but you weren't like a Shaun White out there.
Yeah.
For your first shot. Because I've seen people like hop off the lift, especially little kids. It's so annoying. It's like I snowboarded in Colorado one time. You got like 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
Just parents like carrying them up on the lift because they're too tiny to get in the dang seat. And they just set them down when they get off, and they're just like, they're gone. You're like, how is this? It doesn't make sense. Like that kid is better at snowboarding than I am at walking.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense. Anyway, my whole point of saying that was like, you did a really good job. You weren't that kid.
Not as good as a kid.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
At least I wasn't the kid who had the leash on him, though.
You were not. Well, we thought about it, but just because they thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Yeah. I think next time we go, we wear costumes.
Okay, like a giraffe costume?
You should wear a giraffe costume.
I'll wear a giraffe costume.
I really want to wear my inflatable dinosaur. The problem is I would not be able to see anything.
Or how would you put your boots on?
Well, it's got like things where I put my feet in.
Oh, there's not feet for it?
No.
Okay, that's good.
But I wouldn't be able to see because it's like a plastic like thing
it
in
would
the neck.
definitely fog up.
Yeah, I would die.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was fun talking to you about your first experience.
Yeah, it's fun going.
You know, if you're interested in snowboarding, let us know. You can come with us in our next trip maybe, or next year. But let's wrap this thing up. You got any last words of wisdom?
Snowboarding is fun.
Shred the gnar, bro.
Shred the gnar, bro.
And make sure that you continue to stay off.